Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie, Esther here, and thank you for coming to my tinfoil talk. All of you fellow fog enthusiasts out there, do you have your tinfoil on? Let's talk about what the next killer could be. So if you watched me live stream the public test build on Tuesday for mid-chapter 14.5 when it went live, you may remember that about 90 minutes into the stream, I audibly gasped on stream, and everybody who was playing with me said, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Oh, nothing, just somebody sent me something." Well, the something that was sent to me was one of my data mining friends floated me some code that they found in the public test build, which led me to instantly believe that I knew the identity of the next killer. Whether I'm right or wrong remains to be seen, but to me, it shook me to the core when I saw it, which is why I audibly gasped. So I sat on this information for a couple of days wondering what I should do with it. And then I saw that more people had found the piece of code and they started to spread it around on Reddit and leaks and things like that. So I just decided, all right, it's time for me to make a video about it and talk to the community about it. And, you know, like I said, tinfoil hat time. We'll see if this is right or not. So this line of code that they sent me has this new scoring event in it for the killer. And it describes it as destroy breakable wall. And as soon as I saw those three words together, destroy breakable wall, I immediately thought, oh my gosh, the Smasher is coming to Dead by Daylight. So if you don't know who the Smasher is a concept killer that they prototyped early on before release, and they had just decided that it was too overpowered to have a killer who could remove some of the obstacles in the game and it wouldn't be able to be balanced, so they had just put that idea to the side. But now that I see this line of code, it makes me think that there's a strong possibility the Smasher could be coming to Dead by Daylight. The devs shared the concept of the Smasher on one of their live streams about 27 months ago, and I'll just let you listen to the description of the Smasher and why they couldn't make it work.
Are there killer concepts that were later abandoned you wish had stayed in?
Or will yet come in.
Yeah, that's it. That is a hard one to actually talk like that. But we could talk about various ideas that we've seen.
Well, I mean, like when we prototyped the original version, probably even before the one which had the really old Unity one-on-one version of the game, there were 9 different killers in that mode.
Yeah.
I mean, like some of them are like have been amalgamated 3 into 1. One that never made it, or did, was called the Smasher, and that one could just destroy the entire level.
That's so good.
Well, it was good, but after we played it for a lot of time, it was like you would be stealthy and you'd be hiding, and the Smasher would remove the level.
Of course,
in its entirety.
Like, what do you do?
Yeah, well, so it kind of ended up with it never quite fitted quite, but it was quite entertaining. Which is true, like you sometimes you go to the programming team and say, we've got a power, it's going to be amazing. It's going to call the Smasher, and he basically destroys the entire level. And art and programming looks at you, and it just never gets beyond the sentence.
Yeah,
it's like, no, that's not.
Yeah, that's one of the issues of retrofitting, well, like an old concept and making it back into a game that's been live for more than a year.
So there you have it in their own words, the description of the Smasher. And if you're thinking, well, that's such an old idea, why would they revisit that now? I would just present the evidence to you that even though the Huntress was the 8th killer released for Dead by Daylight, they also said that she was the first killer they ever designed a power for. So they designed her projectile throwing, and it wasn't until it came time for the 8th killer that it actually came to fruition. So it's very possible that they could be revisiting this old idea and figured out a way to balance it and put it into the game. I don't believe there is any prototype footage of the Smasher. I could be wrong about that. But, you know, even if there was, I don't know that that would be much to go on looking at the prototype of the Huntress footage. So we have no idea. But maybe, hey, maybe it does exist out there. Maybe somebody can find it. And if you're thinking, hey, Paulie, they're just messing with you. They just put some fake code in there to throw you off the scent, which, you know, that's not out of the realm of possibilities. But as I had that audible gasp and I kept playing the PTB that day on the new map of Leary's, I started looking around and I saw the map in a very different way. We saw that there were like wholesale changes on Leary's. It's a completely different map. But if you look around on the new Leary's, you can see that there are multiple spots that could potentially be breakable walls. they have these plywood covered doorways with sheets on the other side, and they have these doors with the circular windows in them that, all of these could be easily smashed by someone if this is in fact part of the next killer's power. The map could be set up so that it will be incorporated with this new killer. Even the vaults, you see all of the vaults have weird textured bricks underneath that aren't fluid with the rest of the surrounding brick. So it makes me wonder if they are setting this map up so that it is quote unquote smasher ready. And if that's the case, then man, there's got to be a lot of work going on at Behavior to overhaul all of the maps to make them smasher ready. But this Larry's for certain seems as if it could be viable for a smasher killer to take advantage of some of these spots that could be broken through. And frankly, it's terrifying. It could just be that all those doorways are there to allow for different RNG spawns on where the entrances and exits are going to be on those rooms. But then I just question why the vaults look so different with just different colored brick or boarded up at the bottom. So many of you out there might be thinking, what licensed character could fit this model of a smasher as someone who could break through walls? And Jason would obviously be at the top of that list, but he's so embroiled in this legal battle, I don't see that it could be him. And I have thought for quite some time that it's going to be an original chapter, original killer this next go round. I have one specific reason for that, which I'll keep to myself for now. But I've thought for a while that the next chapter is going to be an original, and my money had been on the Alchemist from the lore of the first archive, first tome, that the Alchemist was going to be the next killer, and it may still be. It could be that the Alchemist power is to break down these breakables, so that remains to be seen. But I do think it is going to be an original character. One more piece of quote-unquote evidence, stick with me, we might be going way down the rabbit hole on this one, is this video of a hamster defeating a maze by just crawling over the top, which Dave Richard retweeted and said the next killer doesn't care for loops. Now, initially when I saw this tweet from him back on November 28th, I thought he was talking about the Oni, because this was before the Oni was fully released on December the 3rd, even though we had seen the Oni in the PTB a couple weeks before that. But then when he was asked if they was talking about, do you mean the Oni or the next killer, he said, yeah, we're already in the future, friend. So I think that means he's talking about the next killer, not sure. Do you mean the Oni or the next killer? Yes. I don't know. So I don't know how to take that. But, and then someone remarked, I only just got good at looping this year though, Dave. And he said, don't worry, there's a giant cooldown, and then he has a little rodent face here. And if you remember, the Alchemist was bit by a rodent. But I don't know, this could all just mean nothing. Like Dave also says on the thread here that the killer has so much reach and does double damage. Oh, one big weapon that goes across the whole map deals double damage. It evens downs players in other games. So take all this for what it will. It might just be just a lot of fun and mean nothing, but with my crazy theory, I'm able to wedge this in and make it somehow fit and make sense. Oh, and I also have this leaked bit of audio of the killer using their power. Here's what it's going to sound like. Oh, yeah! Okay, I might have been lying about that last part. So, what do you think? Am I on the right track or the wrong track? Is this some red herring code put in there to fool me? Or what I showed you, how they have made changes to this Larry's map that would be conducive to a killer that had this kind of power? Is that a strong evidence to support that this is indeed going to be a killer power we're going to see in the near future? Are you excited that they might have to do wholesale changes to all the maps? I don't think there's any question that the newly designed Larry's is the new gold standard for Dead by Daylight level design. It's simply beautiful, and it gets me quite excited if, in fact, they do have to do a pass-through on all of the existing maps to make them workable with this new killer power. But what a huge undertaking that would be to go through every map. That's the only thing that makes me skeptical about it, because I don't know if they have enough time to rework every map like that for a new killer. Maybe they do. Maybe it would just be like Unsheltered Woods to make all the vaults breakable. Not entirely sure. Would the Killer Shack vault be breakable? Interesting. Well, that's what I've got for you today. Let me know in the comments if you think that I'm onto something or if the tinfoil hat has been on too long. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care of each other out there in the fog. Unless you're the Smasher and just get rid of all those vaults. And as always, I'm the king. I tip my crown to you, and we'll see you in the fog. Wait, that's not the right outro.